everyone, this is Johannes Andersson from the band Tribulation, and you're listening to Jet on Metal Messiah Radio.
Good evening, everybody, and welcome to the Metal Magdalene with Jet right here on Metal Messiah Radio. Tonight we have with us as our special guest Johannes Andersson of the Swedish metal band Tribulation. Welcome to the show, Johannes.
Thank you so much, and good evening to you all.
So, Johannes, for people that might not be familiar with the band, give us a little brief history about Tribulation.
The brief, quick history is we actually started off as a thrash metal band back in 2004. And, 2001. And then we changed to a rougher kind of music, death metal, one would say, in 2005. And we've recorded 4 albums to this day and are about to release our first live album.
And Johannes, the band has been touring pretty extensively. Has your touring always run pretty smoothly for you guys?
Well, I mean, every tour is a battle in itself, but some has been better and some has been worse. Boring answer there, but it is actually kind of 50-50. The feeling I have right now, at least.
And now the band has been around now for some 15 or so years with, like you mentioned, 4 full-length albums and about to release your first live album. Have you always entertained the idea of doing a live album at some point? And how did the idea of doing this live album now come about?
Well, I mean, you can only look at other bands' history, and people have been telling us you look and sound so awesome live. So the opportunity rose when we had a nice show in our hometown now, that's Stockholm, and someone just said, "Hey, let's record it and film it and maybe release it," and that's simple as that.
So tell us a little bit about the venue you played at for this album, Johannes.
Well, it's an old building. It's an old theater in the middle of Stockholm. I think the building is from the mid 18th century, maybe, and it's always been one of those places you love to go. I remember going there when I was a child with my father. It's atop of a hill, so you can see all of Stockholm, basically. So it's kind of honoring to be doing a show there for a seated audience in this old theater. Very nice, beautiful. Everything's gold and painted ceilings and this small balconies and stuff. So it felt that's also the main reason we did the live album, because this feels too good to not record, to make history of.
So tell us a little bit about this stage setup and playing in front of a seated crowd,
Yeah,
as compared to
that's
people.
The first.
Go ahead.
That was the first for sure. We never ever played for a seated audience, if I remember correctly. But yeah, we actually divided. When we had the opportunity to do the whole theater thing, we of course divided the show into sets. We had the intermission in the middle, and basically we actually played the latest album down below from start to the end in the first set, and then it was 30 minutes intermission. And these classical theater bells rang 3 times, and it was time for the second act. And of course, we had a conferencier as well, I should add. So yeah, it was one of those, do I put my suit on or do I take my leather jacket? I don't know, kind of situation.
So I mean, did you do like the setup of the stage any differently playing for a crowd?
Well, the Down Below set, the first act, it was different. We skipped the backdrop and actually just illuminated a white backdrop with red, with a red light to reminisce of the album cover. And we did, as we usually do now, 4 podiums, 2 in the back and 2 in the front, and we actually had a huge gong behind the drummer as well. So the red was the big part of the first act, and then the second act was more basic, playing the good oldies, so to say, and the old backdrop, and more classical Tribulation sets, and of course a lot of incense all around.
So how did you go about choosing what you guys were going to play for each set before you even went into all of this?
Well, as I said, Down Below from start to the end was just to, this is our latest release, everybody, here you go. If you haven't heard it, you have now. And well, the second act was harder to select the old songs, but it felt kind of natural when we started digging into it. It's what we have played almost every tour, or the songs that we played the most, I guess, during all of the touring, is the ones that fit Act 2. So. And our drummer, I remember, he wanted to play a really old one, not really old, but a song that we never play, and he got his will done. So that became the last song of the second act, actually.
So how long did it take after recording it live to actually mix and master this, put it all together for release?
Well, the show was in December 8th last year. So it's, as usual, it takes time doing a release. When I was younger, or a teenager, I just thought bands just poop out their live albums like it's nothing.
Surprise!
Like, here you go. Someone put the recorder on, and But this became a very big campaign, actually. A lot of work with the layout, and of course mixing and mastering, as you said. We let it, it takes time to going through the material and see what works and not works. If something has to be faked, But we actually managed to not fake that much at all.
Well, that's good.
We're kind of proud of that. And the sound engineer we work with, he's been with us for many live shows, so he's a pro at our sound. So it wasn't that hard. I think it took a weekend to just do some layovers and mix it, and then send it to the master.
Now, when you were performing this album live, did you feel like a little more pressured as to not mess anything up?
Well, I mean, I work better under pressure, personally. But of course, the seated audience was the hardest thing for me. Because you're used to people, cheering and headbanging and, being loud. But this was so quiet and so, strict and formal. So we didn't know what to receive from the audience. So it was like, should we put on the full show as we always do? Should we, headbang and do everything we used to? Or should we, adapt our stage presence to the sitting audience? But we felt like we will be in our natural form. So we did it as we always do. And I think some people might been eager to stand up, but they couldn't, because they would block the guy behind, But it was great. I mean, the sharing in between songs was massive. So that's how we knew it worked. So no embarrassment there.
And what a wonderful way to enjoy a performance of Tribulation. And now you just launched recently a live video of Strange Gateways Beckon from the live album, which also I want to mention includes the live DVD of the show. So why did you want to release this as the single, if you will, off the album for everybody to preview?
Well, that's mainly because it's the first single out of 3, and that song we've been playing since before we actually released the album It's On. So it felt like this is number 1. I mean, nowadays when it's getting older, it might not be the number 1 song that we choose personally, but it's been on every freaking live set we ever played. So that's why it felt natural to make it the first single.
And now, is the whole entire performance on DVD?
It is.
So this one was kind of nice. So now at least people that are thinking about, well, if they get the live album, I believe they get the DVD anyways, but they could see the quality of the video, because it was awesome. And here you are, Johannes, you're in this big old theater, and your band is so kind of theatrical anyways, with all your imagery and everything. Really, it was it's fun to watch. It's like a theatrical performance, and the angles of the cameras too. They're far away, so you see the whole stage, and then they're closer up, and there's shadows. It was just really fun to watch as well as listen to. What did you think of the DVD when you kind of checked some of it out?
Yeah, just wait till you see the whole thing. I'm really pleased with the results. The guys, the film crew we've been working with, they're awesome, and they get us, and that's also one of the reasons, of course, we did it to start with, because people have been saying, and we always been thinking that we belong in the theater somehow, in the nicer rooms, if that makes sense. It
does, because you I don't know how to describe it. Everybody has their own description of a band when they see them, but you kind of just have that dark, theatrical, kind of a little bit more sophisticated. I don't know if that's coming out, but
I can see that. I mean, we're kind of serious, and that's the look we like and always been doing. So if I got my will through, I would love to do just a theater tour of the United States.
Ooh, that would be so cool. I mean, just watching that little clip, and like you said, wait till you see the rest, which I can hardly wait after seeing that. It's just you're in your element, let's put it that way, and it's so nice to see you finally in that way, in this big old, I don't know, it just all works, Johannes.
Yeah, I can't agree more.
So tell us a little bit about the cover art and artist, which I love, because as we just spoke of, it's like a skeleton playing on a theater stage. So tell us about coming up with all of that.
Well, it's Adam, the guitar player, who's done the layout, and he usually, when we do our album covers or layout, it's Jonathan, the second guitar player, who makes the drawing of the actual image, the cover art, and then Adam works the layout for the rest of the booklet and whatever. But this time it's actually Adam only who's been doing both the cover and layout. And we had this. We had what do you call it? Like a pamphlet, like a program for every visitor in the audience. Was a pamphlet sitting on their chairs when they arrived to them.
Nice.
And the theme was already there with the skeletons. And we just went on with the skeletons. Who doesn't love skeletons? But Adam found very good ones, and we liked the imagery of skeletons playing instruments. And on the cover art, there's a skeleton playing the flute on a bone, I guess. And I think it's the backside or in the booklet, you will see the rest of us, playing instruments. So it felt like, and the title of it all is Alive and Dead.
I get it.
Yeah, so it's kind of, it might be an easy way to go, but it's less is more in my book, and it feels like a great introduction. You will, when you buy it, you will know what to get, what you will see and hear.
Right, and I like the whole fact that, you do have, like, the theater curtains, and like you say, it's less is more, so it's not, like, really big right in your face and everything.
You don't need colors.
No, not for this, not at all.
No.
No. And so how is this going to be released? I mean, what is going to be available along with, the...
Actually, I suck at keeping up with that. It's been going really fast lately. But I think, there's different stores even. We have a North America shop, and we have a European, we have a German, we have a Australian. But I think there's different versions, or I'm quite sure there's a version without the DVD. There's a version, of course, with the DVD, and there's like a package. You get I think it's a baseball tee. So it's definitely 3 or 4 or even 5 kind of different versions you can get. But the DVD and the actual recording will stay the same on every.
Is there going to be like a vinyl version?
Of course, yeah.
I saw that one. Yeah.
That's how I roll. I like the vinyl way more. But yeah, vinyl and CD. No tape, what I heard of. But maybe that's overdue with tape nowadays.
Maybe not for this one anyways. I mean, I like the fact I like the vinyl anyways myself too. And so, geez, you guys have been so busy. You just have this about to release. So what do you guys got going on for the rest of the year?
Well, we have a Ghost tour coming up in November, ending in late December. So we've been working a lot about the, everything about a tour, the logistics and stuff like that. But we have, we have 3 shows before that, and that's actually 2 Swedish shows in smaller cities we haven't played in ages. So that's going to be cool. And then we have Ireland festival in Limerick, Ireland. So that's going to be on Halloween, I guess.
Oh, cool.
So, it's 3 good shows and then the Ghost tour.
Well.
And then it's Christmas.
Jeez, how the heck did that happen?
We've been keeping, medium busy, I would say, for being us this summer. So I wish we could go back to the States more. That's my only concern. But you can't, fit everything within a year.
I would love that, especially if you, like you were saying, if you came and did some kind of performing at like theaters. We have such beautiful, huge, old theaters here that you guys would be awesome in.
Yeah, no. I'm gonna talk to the booker and make this happen.
Oh, that would be so cool. So hey, there you guys have it. Tribulation have a new live album out and DVD, Alive and Dead, on all kinds of formats, releasing off Metal Blade Records, and you can follow the band on their websites to keep up with shows and what's going on with them. And Johannes, thank you so much for coming on this show to tell us about the new album, and all the best to you and the band.
Of course. Thank you so much for having me.